All right, I want to share some things that I did yesterday I thought was pretty interesting. You've heard of staking your tokens for money, and I want to show you what I did last night just because I'm experimenting with all this stuff and I'm playing with my own money, put my own money in there and seeing how it goes so then I can come back and share with people the results. And so I'm basically the crash test dummy and all of this stuff. So that way you don't have to be. And I've seen on Twitter that a lot of people were talking about this new NFT site called Looks Rare. And they were saying how it's going to be an OpenSea killer. And if you know anything about NFTs, you know about OpenSea. And they've been like the Google, the Facebook of NFTs, right? They went public. The two young founders became billionaires and all that stuff, which, and a lot of the NFT world and the Web3 world, that's actually goes against, right, decentralization, because now they got a centralized platform. But in some cases, I get it, like you need a centralized platform. Well, Looks Rare is looking to come in and change the game, right, and make things different, where if you actually sell your things on there, the tokens go back to get redistributed back to the owners of the marketplace, which are the creators, which again, that's the concept and the idea behind Web3. And again, I'm not the looks expert because I just learned about this. It's brand new. But what I was not afraid to do was put my money on the line. And that's kind of like what I did. So I want to show you what I did. And again, this isn't like, because all of this stuff, because everything is brand spanking new. You don't have 10 years of historical data to show. But I can only show you the historical data that I have, which is one day. I know, right? Like, what? Come on, get out of here, dude. But I can show you some other data that says why this makes a lot of sense. And I can show you books that I have that also states why the banks and why the government doesn't want you doing this kind of stuff. Because if you read books that are recommended by some of the controversial folks out here, like Robert Kiyosaki, and he talks about the Federal Reserve and FDIC and how all of these banks have been going belly up and they've been getting bailout, which has caused inflation for regular people, then you'll understand why it makes sense that the government wants to intervene on these things and prevent this from happening. It also makes sense because, I mean, just like if you look at it, like on some real talk here, you know, if you look at it, this is the interest rates that they're paying people, right? 0.03 interest rate, 0.06 interest rates. Look, this is BB&T Cap Bank. Look what they're telling. They're paying us saving 0.01, 0.4. Like what can you do with that, right? I mean, like what is it? With the rising cost of everything, just like I ain't even gonna say milk, water, everything. With the rising cost of housing, wood, roofs, insurance, cars. I mean, used cars, like you can't even get a used car right now for a decent price. Like just with the average cost of everything, how is the person supposed to make it? Like how are you supposed to make it out here? So it just makes sense that people are looking for alternative ways to put their money, to invest their money, because we've for so long have given the power and the trust to these people, and they continue to let us down. And then what happens when something like a natural disaster or a crisis or anything happens, like a pandemic, then who gets the biggest piece or the biggest chunk of the bailouts, and the wealth redistribution goes back up to the corporations. And this happened in 2008, happened in 2020, happened in 1989, happened in I mean, every time there's any type of catastrophe, the government bails out these institutions, and then the little people are left behind. So it just makes sense, like with this kind of highway robbery, they charge me more money in fees than they pay you in interest. I get bank fees, and I don't even know why, because I got plenty of money in the bank, but they charge you, they're going to find a way to charge you fees and then collect bonuses off of this stuff. So with our government having bailed it out, it just makes sense why people are looking for alternatives, and it makes sense why this market exists on top of everything else. Let me close. I got some people making a whole bunch of noise in my background. It's like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. What are they making all this noise for? All right, so look. So it says stake your looks, earn up to 756%. I'm sorry, I don't play the lottery. I don't do scratch off, but 756% APR just sounded too good to pass up. Like, to not try and put like 2 G's and to see what happens. I mean, it just sounded like too good to be true. So I went ahead and let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, I think that's about as big as it can go. So I went ahead and it says here my stake is 507 looks, right? So if we go to my other screen, let me pull this up. You'll see here that looks are trading at $4.60, right? So if you look here, I staked 507, right? Okay, times $4 is 2,000 and whatever, you do the math, all right? Now, check this out. One day. So I did this, right? I staked this, and look at this. So it says collect, right? 0.006 WETH, right? So it says now I can collect $19. I'm gonna show y'all some crazy math. So I put up $2,000, right? And then like the next day it tells me I can collect $19 here, which I haven't collected yet. Okay. And then it says in terms of the looks here, right? It says I get to collect, I've earned 3.4 looks. All right. It actually doesn't say collect. So it just says I've earned 3.4 looks. So let's compound. When you stake looks, you also earn extra looks as a bonus reward. I don't even know where that goes. I'm not even that sophisticated yet to even understand that. But just the fact that I've earned here that I can collect. In fact, I'm going to do it on the screen right now. I'm going to hit collect and see what happens. Collect. Confirm my wallet. Oh, you can't see it on the screen. But in order to collect anything, you got to transfer, and the gas fees are high. So I can't collect my money because my gas fees are like $99. So I'm not collecting right now. I'm going to hold off because the gas fees, since it's on Ethereum network, they want to charge me the fees to send the money back to my wallet. So even though I got $19 to collect, they want to charge me like the mining fee is like $99. So I didn't collect it. But nevertheless, it says here, okay, all right, I've got $19 to collect. And one day, one day. So I'm going to keep, and then it says I earned 3 looks. So if you do the math on that, right, like let's do some math. So, I got some smart people. So if we've got here, let me see, $19 plus, we're going to say 4.5, was it 4.5 times 3 looks? We'll pull this back up. Okay, I got $19, and then I got 3.4 times 4.5, right? Hold on. So 4 times 3 is 12. Times another. All right, that's another $14. So 19 plus 14, right? So you're telling me, according to my math, I made $33 in one day off of $2,000. Now I ain't did the APR because I ain't know. Like I said, we could get into that, and like there's calculators and stuff, and I looked before I even did any of this stuff. I went ahead and like pulled down some of these sites, and I was like, all right, how do you make profit on staking? I did some research, and it shows you how to do it. And then like I used this little calculator jig. Let me see if I can get on a bigger screenshot for you guys. Hold on. So like Luna did it, and so I used this little calculator jig that showed how like staking works over here. So I did some math, but I can tell you this, like real talk. I can tell you this. This ain't gonna get it. This right here, it ain't gonna get it. This is not gonna get it. You cannot, right? With this, you can't live. You can't live with that 0.01, 0.05 point. You can't live. Like people can't survive. So I don't know what the solution is, but I can tell you this right here ain't the solution. This is not the solution. The bonuses they're making, the fees they're charging, the risk that they're putting us at, just to be subjected to being bailed out if a catastrophe happens, is not worth us keeping our money in banks. And of course, they're telling me that banks are safe, but let me show you some facts. Let's just go here. All right, FDIC. Hold on. Let me get to it. Where is it at? You know what? Forget it. I'll call it bank. All right, here we go. Let's just get to it because I couldn't find it. So look at this: bank bailouts, Great Depression, savings and loan crisis, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, collapse, Bear Stearns, American Rescue, AIG, COVID pandemic. So again, look, we've been bailing out banks who's supposed to be safe storage of money for Americans. We've been bailing them out since 1792. The Great Depression. Look, savings and loan crisis cost the government $160 billion to clean up. COVID-19, you was going $2 trillion assistance, right? Yeah, they gave us a little bit of money, but the majority of that money went to the financial institutions. Look, Great Depression, stock market crash, 1921, 1938. So, I mean, the money that we are as citizens, right? Look, 1989, savings and loan, bailout, 1989. Flush with funds, SNL. They went to risky and ill-advised commercial real estate ventures. They laid out zombie banks to continue operating in hopes that they would eventually return profitability. Never happened. 1,000 savings and loans were still in operation and insolvent, nearly insolvent. Okay, so 2008 financial crisis. Unprecedented federal intervention to rescue banks and restore confidence to the finance sector. Chief culprit was the explosion of mortgage-backed securities created by banks. So again, I'm just putting the information on the screen. People can do what they want to do. They can make their own assertions based on this information. I'm just saying that people need hope. They need like a change. They need something that they look forward to. And right now, what I've seen is with, again, if you look at even if the popular coins like Dogecoin and Shiba, if you put $1,000 in those coins, would they be worth today if you done it a year ago versus putting the money in the bank versus putting in a CD? Somehow I just kind of think it's worth taking a risk. So that's just my 2 cents. You know, you could do whatever you want to do, but if you are playing the lottery, if you're playing scratch off, if you're buying luxury clothes, if you're buying regular clothes, if you're, hey, look, fast fashion is a business, an industry, right? If you're going to H&M and buying $5 shirts and $10 shirts and throwing them away, wearing them one time, that's just throwing away your money. What's the difference? What's the difference? At least over here, you can take a chance to see if the possibility exists. If these people, if this is true, what if this is true? Like, what if you just took your, like, okay, some people out here like to buy guns, all right? Like, instead of buying your next gun for $500 or $1,000, what if you tried this and like just put it over here and just like see what happened, right? And then again, I go to dinner and we eat regularly. We eat $300, $400, $500 dinners, like consistently, like at least 5-6 times a month. So we're spending $4,000 a month in dinner, $3,000 a month in dinner, and there's a lot of people doing that. And maybe you're not spending as much, but if you're spending $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month in fancy dinners, it might be worth giving this a chance, because I'm telling you right now, like so you're watching this video today, it's January 18th, and I'm gonna actually go in and I'm gonna throw another I actually have another $5,000 I'm about to toss in here and see what happens, because based on if this works, and by the way, I don't even want to like take credit for this. It was a really smart guy on a Tim Ferriss podcast that I listened to that talked about staking money, and he said only stake what you can lose. And he talked to he had been doing it, had been working for him. So based on my calculations, right, if this continually holds up, this percentage, and I'm sure it will change. Like that's today, it's brand new. Maybe a year from now it'll be half of that, or maybe a fourth of that. But still, I don't care. It's better. Anything is better than 0.01%. Anything is better than 1%. Even if it's half of that, or a quarter of that, or even if it's 75%. 75%. Like just all of this is unheard of. So again, I'm gonna, based on the current percentages, right? Based on like what it says on the screen right now here. Based on this on the screen, all right. So it says the Lux APR is 340 and the WETH is 413, which my math kind of worked out, right? Because when we did our math, it worked out that I received 19 and 14. So if you look at that, now we're pretty smart, because when we did our math, we got 19 and 14. So at 19 WETH and then 14 Lux, right? So let's look here, which goes back to what they said, right? Okay, cool. So now, let me tell you how this is, to me, this is like what they call, how they talk about compound interest, right? And so the difference between like putting money in at a certain time and then letting it compound, this is means like compound interest. I'll tell you why. Because, and again, look, I'm not an accountant. I don't have no accounting degrees. I'm not no, how do you call it? I don't have no Series 7 and none of that kind of stuff. But I know how to do some math. I am an engineer and I do know math. So, right, based on my math here, technically you should earn back whatever you put in. You should earn at least 50% of that every single month, based on the number that's like this number here on the screen, right? So if you put in 2,000, you should technically earn 1,000 a month, based on the math. Just again, based on math. I'm not saying you're going to earn that, based on the math of what they're saying here, right? Listen to me. So now, let me tell you where it's compounding at. This is where like for me, it's worth taking a risk, because like I have all these other tokens, and I have all these other tokens that I'm expecting to rise and things like that. Like I'm like everybody else. I want to catch the next Solana as well. I was fortunate enough, I got in on Ethereum back in 2018, so my $1,000 went to $20,000. But I probably should have put in 10,000, right? And then my 10,000 went up to 200 grand. But the compound interest part that's really fascinating to me with this one is, if I put 5 grand in, which I'm gonna do, I should earn 2,500. Okay, next month, right? We agree on that. But if the price of this token continues to rise, so now I earn, because I'm earning the token, right? So half of it is in tokens. So it's almost like, if you think about it, you're getting paid in like Uber stock or Microsoft stock before they IPO'd. So if half of my 2,500, which is 1,200, is in tokens, and so let's say the tokens are 460, right? Let's just say, so 1,200 divided by 460. So I should have 260 tokens at the end, right? Now that's at the 460 price. Now, what happens if that token goes to $10? What happens if the token goes to $15? That's where the compounding comes in. Now, and just like everything else, it could go down to $2 from $1. But given that we are betting, or like I said, we're bullish on this particular token and the marketplace and what they're going to do, if the token goes up any percent, 10%, 15%, 20%, that's where the compounding comes in at. Now, again, maybe people are going to say, hey, you're using the wrong words. That's not called compounding. That's this other fancy term for that. That's cool. I'm just trying to say some things that make sense to me, and what I see it as is it's a multiplier effect, right? You are now paying me. I remember the guy from Dropbox. He was on a podcast and he said that when he was trying to buy the domain name Dropbox, the guy wanted like 50 grand or 100 grand for it. And he says, hey, because they're a startup company, we'll pay you in Dropbox stock. And the guy's like, nope, I want the 100 grand. And then when they went back and did the math, if he had been paid in Dropbox stock, the stock would be worth $30 million today, or something like crazy, like astronomical. But he took the 100 grand. So what I'm saying is, on here, you're getting the money and you're getting the stock. You're getting half of it in money, which is WETH, which it's real money. And then you're getting half in stock shares, which, again, if it appreciates. So to me, you're hedging all the way around. But again, like the Lord said, this is not investment advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. But this is what I'm doing. As always, I've always shared just people what I'm doing, not what they should do, what I'm doing, so that you can be like, hey, you didn't tell me. I didn't know. I'm like, why didn't you let me know? So again, it's a little chilly outside. That's why I'm like dressed up like this. This is actually my softest shirt, believe it or not. I do hate that they got rid of my coach, Brian Flores. Freaking pisses me off. And then they're trying to sell me season tickets. But either way, it's a little chilly outside. And I just wanted to come on and share that because I thought, like everything else I've been doing for government contracting, it's just kind of like sharing what I'm doing, what I'm put my money in, and then that way I'll come back and I'll give you another report, and then we'll see. Let's see what happens. Maybe my 5,000 goes to zero and I'm wiped out, right? But fortunately, because I've been very financially, fiscally responsible, I have income producing assets that generate money. So if my 5,000 goes to zero, then I'll chalk it up to like a vacation or like 3-4 fancy dinners, and it's cool. But if my 5,000 goes to 50,000, right, and then all y'all sit back watching and be like, dang, I should have did that, then you're gonna be upset because you're gonna be like thinking about that gun you bought, or that PS5 you bought, or whatever, some Gucci, Lucci, Hoochie stuff that you bought that now today it just sits in your closet, right? Because you wore it once and you posted it on IG, on the gram, and now it's on the gram. People see you in that picture, and you can't wear it more than one time because they already saw you wearing that on the gram once. So if you like wear it 2 or 3 times, people will be like, oh, that's the only outfit you got. Look, y'all, I've been black too. I know what it's like. I already know how it go. I did that. I made that mistake like when I was in high school. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing that no more. I bought some super expensive outfit, and you can only wear it one time because everybody saw you when it was so like it stood out so much that everybody was like, oh, okay, that's his only outfit. So look, instead of just reconsider buying a purse, reconsider buying fancy shoes, reconsider upgrade your TV. Your TV's fine. Nobody gonna see your purse. Nobody gonna see that outfit. Don't even worry about it. But if this works out, I don't even care if you think of it as scratch-offs or lottery tickets. If you think of this as scratch-off or lottery tickets, you will not be disappointed. You will manage your expectations, and you'll be okay no matter what happens. But if, like the lottery, you hit, you're going to be thanking me later. That's it. I'm out. Be good. Love you guys. Always leave me comments below. Yes, we're changing up some content. But absolutely, I'm still doing government contracts, and again, that's what feeds me. That's what takes care of my bills, allows me to live in this beautiful place that I live in, and have this wonderful weather. Even though the rest of the world is freezing and dying, this is fabulous, and walk to the beach. So thanks, guys. Let's see how it goes. I'm excited.